Okay, so let's talk about serving for a moment. So again, tennis players, especially when they're stronger tennis players, we want to connect with what they understand. And they'll typically understand feeding a ball. And a feed is just when you're starting a rally or you're giving the ball to your friend, you're feeding the ball. You're not trying to win the point or anything like that. So I'm going to use the word feed a ball, just like you're feeding a forehand, because they can usually connect that. Should we talk about all the rules related to serving technique? We should at some point, but we don't want to overwhelm them, right? We want to get them playing. We want them to feel like, hey, pickleball is really fun. I got to play right away. So I'm going to touch on the rules that are sort of like key, and especially if I see some red flags, if he's breaking some of the rules. But otherwise, we're going to say, hey, just sort of serve kind of like you're hitting a forehand. And that's a good way to get started. Okay, so we're going to change things just a little bit. We've talked about ground strokes, we've talked about volleys, we've talked about overhead smashes. We should talk about the serve. Okay, so we'll kind of get into it more as we go. In the meantime, if you go back to your baseline, so just like in tennis, the serve is typically diagonal, right? You hit a serve cross court, and the service box is this big blue box back here. So if I was serving to you, right, you can just catch it when I send it. I serve like that. That's the idea. And if you think about it, there's some really like specific technical rules, but if we just think of hitting the serve as kind of like hitting a forehand, right? It's not an overhand serve like it would be in tennis. It's just like hitting a forehand, like you're feeding the ball. And that's pretty much a pickleball serve. It's kind of like a feed, yeah. Now, the thing you got to be careful of is that one of the rules, at least when you hit the ball out of the air, is that the swing has to be upward. So you can't do like a hard slice. So it's kind of like you're feeding a forehand, but probably going to have some topspin. Yeah. Okay. So why don't you hit a couple serves to me? Maybe just from that side of the line right there is perfect. Okay. So that one you probably wouldn't be allowed to do because it was sort of a high to low swing path. If you think about it, any sort of backspin shot typically requires a high to low swing, right? And in pickleball, it's got to be low to high, at least when you're serving like this. That's better. Try like an Eastern forehand, or maybe, yeah, there you go. That's the idea. There you go. There you go. Ready? That's fine. Yeah. All right, we need one more good one, then we're gonna play. There you go, you're ready. Okay, so let's play a game.